Hey guys, Jason here with Jacksonville IT Pros, and I wanted to take a second to talk about Azure Migrate. I want to describe what it is and how you may be able to use it if you're about to start your cloud adoption journey. Starting with the what. Azure Migrate Discovery and Assessment is the name of the tool. It's a free product made by Microsoft used to rehost your VMs and data onto Azure's infrastructure. So why use Azure Migrate? Well, because it works, because it's free, and because it's one of the most effective ways to get your stuff into the cloud. This type of migration is often referred to as a lift and shift. Just deploy one appliance and it will collect the metadata from your servers, NICs, disks. Then it'll use this to recommend sizes for your new environment and also replicate the data to your Azure subscription. No agents need to be installed, and this doesn't require any downtime to your existing environment. So this all sounds great, but how do we go about it? Well, if you can deploy a VM, you can get this appliance up and running today. You'll obviously need an Azure subscription. Then we'll go into the marketplace and find Azure Migrate and create a Migrate project. Go into that project and under assessments, we'll click Discovery. Now you have the option to do this with a CSV file, say one you got from an RV Tools report, but we're gonna let the appliance do the heavy lifting. This product supports migrations from VMware, Hyper-V, physical servers, as well as the other major cloud providers. We're going to use VMware for this example because that's the industry standard. Now, we just have to name our appliance, generate a key, and then we can download and deploy this thing into our environment. Now, once you browse to the appliance, we'll have to do a couple things to get it set up. We'll need to give it the project key. You can get that from your Azure portal. Go to the project, Discovery and Assessment, and then click the Overview tab. Once you copy paste it in here, click Verify, and the appliance will run a few updates. Once the appliance is up to date, we just register it. To do that, we'll have to log in with our Azure credentials. This is going to redirect you to a browser, which is similar to how you've seen before. The only thing different is it's going to give you a pop-up with a pin. You'll take that pin and copy it into the appliance. Once you paste that in there, you should have a check mark in this section and we can collapse it and move on. You'll want to verify that you've got the proper VMware SDK installed, and you can do that right here. If you run into any issues, the docs are awesome, but I suspect you'll be fine. Before you can point this to your vCenter server, you'll want to add in the credentials. You'll need to give it VMware creds, Windows creds, and SQL sysadmin creds if you want to discover SQL. Then click Validate. These are required so the appliance can authenticate with each of these and discover everything it's got going on. Once you validate the creds, we can point to the vCenter server and start the discovery. You'll see servers start showing up in your Azure Migrate project within like 15 or 20 minutes. Now the software inventory only runs every 12 hours, and it's gonna take a full 24 for the SQL discovery. So before you go home for the day celebrating a job well begun, I recommend enabling the database assessment tool. This is part of the Azure Migrate project and also 100% free. This tool will look into your database and tables and give you super specific issues with recommendations if it finds anything that would prevent a smooth migration. After discovery comes assessment. You can run multiple assessments, so you can make an apples to apples comparison of what your future cloud environment will look like. Your assessments will have a confidence score that start low but will grow with time. These are based on data points collected from each VM, so letting these assessments run during production hours is a good idea. When you have an assessment you like, it's time to start the replication. The appliance orchestrates replicating using two methods, VMware snapshots and CBT, or VMware change block tracking. If both of these stages aren't identical, the Migrate appliance will resolve that issue on the next replication cycle. You'll know the replication is complete when you see the status here change to test migration pending. The test migration does exactly what it sounds like. It's going to test the migration and look for any issues, then give you detailed information about what in the operating systems could be a problem so that they ensure a smooth migration. You'll know this is complete when this status changes to test migration cleanup pending. Azure will clean up the resources, then show you a ready for migration status. Now you're just one click away from game time. How freaking cool. So what next? The Cloud Adoption Framework is something you must review. To borrow a line from Simon Sink, start with why. This framework will help you consider questions you may not have considered had you never done this before. This should also be homework for your executives, IT team, and stakeholders, so everyone's on the same page and speaking the same language. When it's time to rock and roll, you can do this yourself or work with one of the many Microsoft partners who are vetted and have experience making this happen, like Jacksonville IT Pros, for example. If this is going to be an internal project, Microsoft Learn will hold your hand through the technical aspects. And the Cloud Adoption Framework will act as your map, compass, and checklist through the whole process. If this is something you want some help with, or you have any questions, drop a comment below, swing by our website and request a free consultation, or hit the Find a Partner link to find one of the many experts Microsoft recommends. All right, that's it. Until then, we'll see you next time.